Hello, hello. It is Saturday. Thank you for joining us today. I know that you can be anywhere today. It is Saturday, and if you're like me, you have been running around, but I wanted to take this time to welcome you to another informational Saturday with the FPI Network. I'm your girl. I'm your friend, Lady Farley, representing the 100 Women Strong movement. And today I have a long-standing friend. I have to say that because it's true. And I'll probably give you a little history on how the relationship started on another day, because I'm a big advocate. Everyone knows that I tell you, don't burn bridges. Never burn bridges, right? Keep those bridges alive. And with that being said, I'd like you to meet my friend, Miss June Richardson. Now, Miss June Richardson is going to be talking to us today about home ownership. And I've dropped her bio. You can see it on LinkedIn, and I think you see it there on Facebook. And I don't have it on my phone because I shut my phone down. Sorry. But I'm going to let June self tell you every wonderful thing that she is and many, many great things she is. So without delay, thank you again for joining us. Please meet my friend and your informational guru today on Home Ownership 101, Miss June Richardson. She is also the Senior Vice President of Guard Hill Financial LLC. So she's going to say hello to you and just tell you a bit about herself. Thank you for joining us today, June. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, or afternoon. So, good to be together. Join today this chat that we're doing. Is talking about something that is close to my heart. In the past 15 years. Um, slide. First, I'm going to talk a little bit using the slide, and then we're going to let's go into the question session. So, my name is Jim Richardson. I'm Senior Vice President of C. I've been in real estate way too long. Um, it is a pleasure to share some of my essential insights. I have assisted individuals property groups achieve their ownership on personal home buyers all the way up to education. Um, in the process of sharing because I'm truly dedicated to those homeownership that live in our communities. Sharing information, making the process just a little less scary. So hopefully we can have some fun and enjoy ourselves with the bottom line that we are on a journey together to educate ourselves and to create wealth. So, first thing I'm going to talk about is more.
Your sorry,
What you say?
your volume just a bit. The volume just went down. Your volume just went down.
Okay, I'll get a little closer. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, um, the first thing I want to talk about is you may be more ready than you think to purchase a home. One of the things that I notice is that people sort of count themselves out before they even begin. It's important to speak to a professional before you make that determination. I've heard all sorts of excuses. I'm too old, I'm too young, my credit is not great, I don't have a regular 9 to 5 job, so income is sort of up and down. What I would say to you is don't be judged by yourself. Let speak to a professional because there are many ways to obtain financing that you perhaps need. It all starts with being realistic about where you are in your journey. It doesn't make any sense to not accurately assess where you are. It is just data. It doesn't help to judge it, it's just data. You have to know who you are. I can help a mortgage professional help you assess it. Then you have to have a specific goal in where you want to go, what type of property you want to purchase, and basically be able to purchase and not turn over your income is able to support. And then with the help of a professional, you can create actionable steps to get you from where you are to where you want to be. You have to do the work. Effort is required. Charming is retired. He's no longer in the building. And we are required to help ourselves. And I just want to say that you are capable of achieving your goals. And I'm here to help you along. So I'm going to get started. I do just like a mini presentation on what I call pillars of a successful mortgage approval. Full disclosure, there is no way that we could go through every single step in its entirety in this process. And every lender has their own little carve-outs and caveats about what they will and what they accept. So this is supposed to be general information. It's not supposed to be something that's going to be fit all for everybody. Hopefully, at the end of the presentation, you'll have a better understanding of what would be required in order to have a successful loan.
Okay,
So
I'm
the
just putting
first,
that in the chat.
okay. I am watching the presentation screen, so I'm not able to see the chat. Once I'm finished sharing this, um, you know, you can help me with that, okay?
Absolutely.
So the four pillars of the mortgage approval process and what lenders look at to determine your credit worthiness and whether or not you're going to be approved is your income, the assets, meaning the money that you have, your credit, and the property. So those are the four pillars, and all of them have to be in sync with one another in order for you to have a successful mortgage approval. You may be stronger in one area than another, which is fine, but they all come together to make a successful. So the first one is income. And the questions that I'm asking are the questions that the lender is asked. And so if you don't come away with anything else, just think about the questions that I'm asking. So when it comes to income, a lender is going to ask, does your income cover your monthly housing costs and other expenses? At the end of the day, they want to get paid. They want to know that you're going to pay your mortgage. There's a lot of misconceptions out there that people have that if the property is worth way more than the loan, and that somehow gives you a pass on being able to make the payments on time. No, it doesn't work like that. Full stop. Lenders are not interested in becoming real estate agents and trying to sell your property. They make money with interest, and the interest is earned by them every time you make them money, and they want the money. So, okay, so there are different types of income, which I'm going to go over briefly. Salary is probably the easiest one. You get a paycheck, whether it's monthly or every 2 weeks. You work for somebody else, you get a 2, and you get sometimes you get a bonus income that they get, which is also considered, but salary, the person is pretty self-employed. Self-employed person is somebody who's an entrepreneur, this is the network that we're talking to. And whether you are doing a full-time or part-time, a portion of your income is derived from the efforts that you make in your own business. And as a self-employed person, lenders look back at you, which is different. Salary person, salary lenders forward. And so sometimes there can be some challenges with self-employed people. Just know that there are now options available for self-employed people. Returns don't really actively reflect your income. But there may be other ways of you getting a loan by using your bank statements or other ways that it used to be called no income verification loans. It's really not that anymore because we do actually verify that you're making money. We just don't use income tax returns to do it. Then there's the Social Security and pension, which these are legitimate forms of income that you get on a monthly basis. That is considered dividend interest income. Is income that you earn on assets that you have. All of these are the major forms. And what a lender is going to look at is what's called your debt to income ratio, which means it's a calculation that's used to determine if your income sufficiently covers the your expenses. And your expenses are your proposed mortgage payment, which includes your principal and interest, taxes, and insurance, as well as your other monthly expenses that appear on the credit report and any other real estate you may own, the monthly expenses from that. So all of that debt, it has to be within a certain percentage of your income. Now, what that debt to income percentage is decided by the lender specifically. So there isn't really one catch-all. Except that if you're talking about a conforming loan, I'll just use that term. It's a conforming loan, and there's something called a jump loan. Conforming loan is considered to be, for the majority of the United States, any loan that's 726,200 or less. And in some high-cost areas like New York City, that number goes to $1,089,300. And if your loan amount is less than that number, then generally speaking, your debt to income can't exceed 50%. Generally speaking, remember, I'm trying to general information. Always carve outs and caveats to that. Some lenders will go above 40, some may go above 50. I'm just trying to give you general information. Okay, so that's income. Right, now, assets. Do you have enough assets to cover the down payment and closing costs for the home purchase? That's the question that the lender is asking. And so here are some of the things that you consider. Is it yours? Meaning, did you save it? Did it come from a means that you made the money? I don't know if you guys know about it, but there's a thing in the West Indies called susu. And that is a whole lot of people come together and pool their money, and then once a month somebody gets the pool. That kind of assets can be used, but generally speaking, the lender wants to know, does it belong to you? Maybe they want you to have some skin in it. How long have you had it? Most lenders will want you to have at least a 2-month history of the money in your bank account. Where did it come from? Which means that they want to make sure that it comes from a legitimate source. One is a huge challenge, and lenders are really careful about making sure that money comes from legitimate sources. And then, will you have a reserve of cash available after completing the purchase? So, you want to spend your last dollar on purchasing the property, and then you have nothing to fall back. Like I said, this is general. There are some lenders that don't have any requirements that you have a reserve capital. There are some lenders that will do 100% financing. I'm simply trying to give you sort of an overview. Credit. Now, this is where I'm going to camp out for a minute because I think that this is a subject that is misunderstood, and I wanted to spend a little time talking about this. So, basically, the lender wants to know, can you be trusted to make your payments in a timely fashion? And the factors that you use to determine your credit score, which I'll go over in a minute, are listed there. And I've listed them in the order of importance. I'm going to just take a little bit of time. I wrote some notes, and Cindy looked into it. I wrote some notes because I wanted to give you credit scores and where they came from. In the early 1900s, um, credit bureaus began to emerge. And in 1956, Bill Fair and Gerald Isaac formed a company called Fair Isaac Company and established the first credit scoring company, hence the name FICO. They created a mathematical model to consolidate a consumer's credit history into a score. It was designed to standardize and objectively assess risk. In 1970, the Fair Credit Reporting Act was enacted to standardize the use and collection of credit reporting data. In the 1980s, the major credit bureaus, which are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, began utilizing scores. Now each bureau has their own proprietary scoring. Did you know that there are more than one model for scores? For example, there's a different score for an auto loan, there's a different score for a credit card, and there's a different score for mortgage loan. So when people come to me and they say, well, I checked my credit and my score is, let's say, 720, that really doesn't have the same importance to me because it is more than likely not a score that is designed for mortgage lending. It's a kind of specific score. So what I recommend is that you allow someone to pull your credit for you, or if you stay to the end, I'll give you some information on how you can get a credit report. It's considered not a hard pull, which means that it doesn't show up as a negative impact on your credit report. That can give you all the various scores all in one report. You can see what we as mortgage brokers would like in advance and direct prices. One other thing I wanted to say about credit is that one of the main problems that we find in credit scoring is that the models that are used were developed by using historical financial data, which can reflect existing societal imbalances, meaning that there is a number of factors that go into why certain people or certain groups have had challenges with obtaining credit. Where they live,
Let me give myself a book here.
the targeting of areas where lenders go into specific areas and offer higher interest rates just because of the neighborhood that they're in. That would lead to a very cyclical process of consumers not having credit because of the challenges that we find systemically in the system. So one of the things that we have to be very careful about is being very aware of what our credit history is. And the more that you are aware, the more prepared you are to really demand the best loan offers that are available. Okay, property. Does the purchase price reflect the current market value of the property? This is pretty straightforward, meaning that the seller has determined what they're going to sell the property. If they have a real estate agent, generally speaking, you can assume that that purchase price that they're offering is reflective of what the market value of the property is. But the lender wants to make sure that that's the case. So they're going to order an appraisal that's done by an appraiser to determine the value of the property. And the loan to value is the loan amount divided by the purchase price is going to be determined by the lower of the purchase price or the appraisal. So the types of residential property is 1 to 4 family, that's pretty straightforward, condominiums and cooperatives. And the types of occupancy that the lenders are looking for are primary residence, secondary residence, and investment. A secondary residence is a property purchaser occupies the property for a certain portion of the year, and that they own the property fully, that it's not part of a pool of rentals, and that um, it is a reasonable distance from their primary residence. In other words, if you live in Brooklyn and you buy a house in Manhattan, that's not a second. Just so, but there are some programs where if you live in Brooklyn and your mother lives in Manhattan and you want to help your mother buy something, there are programs available that will allow you to purchase that property for your parent as a primary residence. The main difference between all of these different occupancies relates to the interest rate and the loan amount that you're able to get. The best rates and terms are available for primary and secondary residences. Investment properties are considered to be risk, and so as a result, that risk is reflected in the interest rates that are. So this is, we're sort of wrapping up here. Garfield Financial is the name of the company I work for. I've been there 15 years. But it's true. It's a fact. And we are based in New York City, founded in 1992, and all we do are tight-knit family, and I have direct access to underwriters and closers, which means that I get to speak and talk to people face to face. And so it's really a pleasure working at Garfield, and I really can't stress enough how important it is that I have the ability to talk to the people who are actually recruiting their own. Many large vendors, they're processing the business out of state, and really don't have much access. So that's really going to wrap up the major part of the presentation. I just want to wrap up saying a couple of things, and that is the importance of having a team. When you do a real estate transaction, the team that you have around you is so important. The team members include the real estate agent, mortgage lender, and your real estate attorney. Depending on what state you're in, but some states that don't have a real estate attorney, but that a lot of that is handled by your realtor. But it's really important to have